Okay, good evening again. Welcome to DuePoint. Welcome to everyone who's tuned in around the country on our live stream. That little camera in the back there. There's no one hiding in the back, it's in the camera. So thank you for coming out on a Monday evening to come to our head office here at DuePoint. My name's Rob van der Bijl. I'm one of the executives here at DuePoint. I'm going to be spending the next 50 minutes or so with you going through what DuePoint's all about and what we do here. And then after the presentation, you're welcome to come speak to me, ask me any questions. Lynn's also here supporting us this evening, so if the wealth engineer's got any admin required, she's welcome to help you with that. Okay, so let's begin. Like I said, you're here at our head office, but we're actually a division of another company called Constantia Insurance Company Limited. Constantia is a registered insurance company in South Africa. There's only a handful of those, and Constantia is one of them. That's their building in the background. They're based down the road in Randburg. That's their little orange logo. You might recognize it, you might not, because this is the first time that Constantia is actually dealing with the public. Traditionally, they've always dealt with other financial service providers. The FSP number that we operate under is this one that you see over there. You'll notice in the foyer outside above the water cooler, we've got all our FSB licenses on display as per regulation. So we've got a long and short-term insurance license. We've got a long-term investment license. We've got our FSP license on display, as well as accreditation with the direct selling and the direct marketing associations. For us, credibility is very important. At this stage of the presentation, we want you to start building some trust in the business we're going to be speaking about, because like I said, credibility is very important. And it's obviously fundamental to creating any partnership. What we're going to be doing this evening is proposing a partnership to you, and I need you, for your own sake, to trust the business that we're going to be speaking about. So you're welcome to go do a background check on who Constantia is. We're actually part of another group called Conduit Capital, which is listed on the Joburg Stock Exchange. The executive and management team here at DuePoint are the characters you see up on the screen here. The people on the far left, or the three on the far left, are all registered chartered accountants. Brendan Benfield is our senior executive. He heads this business. He's got a lot of experience in financial services, particularly in insurance, because his family have been involved in insurance his entire life. His father's actually a professor of insurance who taught at Wits for 25 years. His father actually founded Clientele Life, a very successful long-term insurer. Brendan and his brother Stuart followed in their father's footsteps. They went on to found a short-term insurance business down the road called Prime Meridian Direct, or PMD. And we see a lot of PMDs advertising because they do advertising on a daily basis on all kinds of different channels. Then we've got Tim Reynolds, who's got a lot of experience in corporate banking. He heads up our financial, our auditing, the regulatory aspects in this business. He was with the First Rand Group for a number of years in a fairly senior corporate position there. Stacey supports him here in the business. She's got a lot of experience in auditing. She's been with Deloitte all her working career. She worked here in South Africa as well as overseas in Luxembourg before she came back to South Africa and joined the team here at DuePoint. And then the two characters over here who aren't chartered accountants but bring some wealth of expertise to the business. We've got Jane. She's actually from York in the UK. So if you speak to her, she's always in reception to meet everyone who comes in here. So if you... What's wrong? Someone's having a chat. There's always one. Sorry, guys. So if you speak to Jane, you'll notice she's got a Yorkshire accent because she's from the UK. And she's got a lot of experience in direct marketing and direct selling, which is obviously fundamental to our business, because even though we're an insurance company, our growth through DuePoint is predicated on the success through referral or network marketing. And Jane brings all of that experience to the business. And myself, I've been working in marketing and advertising all my career. 99% of it. I started a digital agency in the mid-90s, ran that for almost 20 years, fairly successfully. It paid the bills. And I exited that business and then joined the team here at DuePoint. So when we speak about a proposed partnership, what we're really speaking about is proposing a partnership with people, not so much a company, right? Because you're going to be dealing very much with these individuals if you do decide to get involved with this business. And again, credibility is very important to us. We want you to trust the team. We want you to understand all the credibility that's so important to us and why we're a credible business, especially in the economy and society. We've got so many different schemes floating around the country, and perhaps that trust has been broken in the past. And know that our mandate here as staff of DuePoint is to support the people that come into this business. Because as a company, we can only be successful if the people that partner with us are being effective and successful. We're not here for the short term, we're here for the long term, and we want to develop this long-term relationship with the partners that join this business. So know that it's in our interest that we want to collaborate with you towards your success in this business. Okay. So that's a bit of background on DuePoint. Why are you here this evening? It's a Monday night. I'm sure there are better things to do with your time than come listen to me on stage. We typically, at this point of the presentation, discuss some of the driving factors that would lead people to this interest in entrepreneurial opportunity. And I can say one of the biggest driving factors is because employment is not working out for you. Right? For the majority of us, we can see it as macro indicators, the statistics that we get from the FSB. Employment is not working for South Africa. You know, there are a number of aspects that affect this. We look at the economy, which is in an absolute dismal state at the moment. We're actually regressing as an economy. In other words, the economy is getting smaller and smaller. It's shrinking at the moment, unfortunately, in an environment where we so desperately need to be creating jobs. We've got about 9 million people unemployed. We've got nearly 1 million people coming out of school, out of high school every year, into a workplace where there's no job creation. And this creates huge issues. We see it in the way of rising interest rates and inflation, especially when your salary is not keeping up with inflation, right? And so we see for the majority of South Africans that their personal finance position is becoming tighter and tighter and tighter, to the extent where we suddenly are forced into this trap of debt. So you see the 4-letter word up on the screen here, debt. I like to generally tease the audience and tell you guys that you all love debt very much because we all have so much of it, right? We've got this love affair that we have with debt. Unfortunately, it's crippling from a personal finance point of view, right? We don't realize it perhaps when we're a little younger, but you start to understand it the older you get, and you start to understand that you actually fall into this debt cycle that is very difficult to get out of. It is almost impossible to get out of in the economy that we all find ourselves in. Because, like I said, interest rates are going up, inflation sitting at nearly 7%. If your salary hasn't gone up by 7% for the last 5 years running, your salary is actually devalued. We've got food inflation sitting at 11%. Fuel going up constantly. And so the cost of living is becoming more expensive. And with interest rates rising, you've got your debt becoming more expensive to maintain, right? And we try to answer it by entering into debt, unfortunately. And this is offered to you the moment you start earning a salary. You know, financial institutions, amongst a host of other companies, will start offering you service and products that come in the form of debt instruments. And South Africans will engage in things like credit cards and personal loans, home loans, educational loans, buying things on hire purchase, having clothing accounts and food accounts and all these type of debt instruments. And unfortunately, as a society, we only start looking at engaging in savings and investment products much later on in life, around our 50s. Right, so that's what statistics show us. They show South Africans will only engage in investments around the age of 50, which is far too late. It is far too late because it only gives you 10 years before you have retirement bearing down on you. So this was an article that was actually published on the Fin24 website late last year. The article was written around the fact that the mortality rate is increasing, obviously, with medical technology, medical services, health services and care. People are living longer every year. So currently the mortality rate in South Africa is sitting at 74. The women in the room that are dying today, no one in the room is dying today, but women in South Africa that are dying today are dying at the average age of 74. But everyone in the room here, we're going to live well past 74. They reckon that kids being born today are going to live easily past 100 years of age, right? This is a direct consequence on retirement planning, because if you're retiring at 60, nowadays, or if you were doing retirement planning 20 years ago, your financial advisor would have said to you, you're probably only going to live to 75. So you only need to save enough money to get you to 75, right? But you can't do that today. Now you've got to plan to live to at least 90 years of age. So your retirement planning has to suddenly adjust. So this article was predicated on that kind of premise. We've got 3 columns over here, right? Each column has got an income number at the top. The income is what you would derive from an investment that you make. So if you start engaging in responsible retirement planning and you put yourself in the position when you get retired at 60, but you've got R1 million sitting in a cash investment or an investment of some sort, that investment will pay you out about 5,000 Rand a month, right? Does that sound like the golden years? Does that sound like a fun retirement where you're deriving 5,000 Rand a month? Right? Very, very few South Africans get to retirement financially independent. Very few. Because I can say to you, as undignified as 5,000 Rand a month sounds to live on in retirement, how many people in the room are actively saving towards R1 million at the moment? Almost none of us. Almost none of us. Do you see the problem? Do you see the massive gap? You're looking at 5,000 Rand and saying, I can't live on 5,000 Rand. But then who of us are making a plan to make sure that we're going to be in a position where we're earning more than 5,000 Rand? And the answer is very few. Like I said, only about 2% of South Africans will get to retirement financially independent. 98% of us will get to that position with some massive decisions to make. Massive decisions. You're going to be part of this class called financially dependent. Who do you become dependent on? Your children, right? Other family. You have to downscale your lifestyle to such a degree that you can actually get by month to month. And that can be very undignified. So let's look at the second column, just to give you a little bit more reference. 26,000 Rand a month you could derive as income if you were in the position where you had 5 million Rand invested. Okay? If you're under the age of 25, you can start engaging in responsible retirement planning because time is on your side, right? You've got your whole life, your entire working career to save and invest responsibly. And that's a great thing to do. So to give you an idea of what that looks like, to get to this position, you need to save 4,000 Rand a month for the next 40 years, uninterrupted. And that contribution of 4,000 Rand a month has to go up in line with inflation. So it has to increase by about 7% annually for the next 40 years. Can you see why it seems unreachable, perhaps, right? It's unreachable because we're all in the same environment where we're working. We're all in the same environment where we have the economy beating us on a monthly basis. Companies in South Africa are in survival mode. They're certainly not thriving. The majority of them are just trying to survive. And so this is certainly not the proposed solution this evening, right? But I'm hoping that it paints a picture for what your future looks like, what personal finance and your retirement actually looks like. Because you don't want to be one of those people that get to 60 and go, how did I get here? I want you to think back to that presentation on a cold Monday evening in Bryanston and go, that's what this guy warned me about. And I really hope that you're not one of those people. I want you to be one of the 2% that go, thank goodness I was in that presentation on that cold Monday evening because 20 years ago I started making drastic changes to my personal situation that have afforded me where I am today, where I can retire financially independent, in a position to help my family, be financially free, do whatever I want, have control over my finances. So out of that negativity, if you want to call it that, these driving factors, the reality that we all face, as a business we saw an opportunity to create a platform for the average South African to engage in. And when you engage in this platform, really what we want to do is change your situation. Our first aspiration for the wealth engineers that get involved in this business, our goal for you is to see you become debt-free as fast as possible. How many of us have even thought about becoming debt-free as a goal? You're just thinking, oh, I'd like a bigger car, or maybe if this guy shows me how to make money, I can buy a bigger house, or I can afford to go on holiday, a decent holiday at the end of the year. How many of us have an aspiration of becoming debt-free, right? Because it actually requires a decision daily. Daily. I catch myself constantly looking at nice cars, looking at nice clothes, nice suits, nice shoes, and I'm always thinking, how am I going to afford that? Instead of thinking, how am I going to pay my bond off faster this month, right? We just don't think like that, unfortunately. So that is our first goal here, to see the wealth engineers, the people that join this business, to get to debt-free status, true debt-free status. Your car paid off, your house paid off, you pay your kids' education a year up front. The money that arrives in your bank account doesn't have debit orders going off of it. Can you imagine such a thing? Hey? We know those debit orders all too well. Even some of them we don't recognize. We've got so many. You think, who's this now? I'm sure I didn't sign for this debit order. Then you go through your bank statements, have an argument with the bank, right? So we want you. It has to, you'll see it. It becomes a common theme throughout our business. This noble kind of aspiration to becoming debt-free, really debt-free. And our second aspiration is to see wealth engineers start engaging in true investments. Start saving money towards your retirement, something long-term. Everything that we discuss in this business is long-term. There's nothing short-term about this business. This evening might be the first day that you commit for the rest of your life. You don't know it yet, but that might be what's in store for some of us, right? I hope this. Our third aspiration is to see the people that get involved in this business and make a success out of it ultimately become happier. Because that's why you came here this evening. You had some little inkling, some shining light of hope in your heart, in your head, that you would hear something tonight that could potentially offer you hope to change your situation. That's ultimately why we're here. And I'm hoping that the process is by becoming debt-free. If you become debt-free and you're only putting money away in investments and building assets and that type of thing, you're going to be happier at the end of every month. I promise you that. Brendan, he jokes when he does training sessions with everyone. He says, money is not everything in life. It's about 99% of it, though. Right? You don't have money, you can be as liberated as you want. We want to be economically liberated. Right? So this is the goal. So how does this work? Basically, our guests here this evening, you have the opportunity of joining DuePoint. When you join us, you actually contract with us, and we call you wealth engineers when you contract with us. And as wealth engineers, we only expect you to go out and do one thing, and that is to go out and build what we call channels of distribution. Okay, I'll show you what a channel of distribution looks like. But your success in building these channels of distribution is really you introducing people to DuePoint and us attempting to place product with these individuals. And that's basically how this entire business works. It's as simple as that. The benefit for you is that you get to create additional income stream. Now, this is obvious. This is the only way you're going to pay your debt off any faster than what you currently are, is by creating this additional income stream. The nature of the income you produce is one of recurring nature, right? Some people might refer to it as passive income. We call it recurring income. It's something inherent to insurance companies. Insurance companies create recurring income, and you get to partner in that benefit of creating recurring income for yourself. So what exactly is recurring income? It's your ability to derive income from an asset that you have built, right? So the asset is producing the income for you, not necessarily your ongoing efforts. So for example, if you won the lotto, and you went and bought a 5 million rand house, and you rented the house out every month, that is recurring income. It doesn't require work from you month on month on month. And in this business, we've built the platform that you can harness that benefit. The effort that you put into this business, let's say for August 2017, will pay you out at the end of August, at the end of September, October, November. You can be in a position in this business where you've created a sustainable enough business and you can go on holiday for 6 months. And you'll get paid every single month while you're sitting on the beach somewhere, having fun with your family. Right? This is what we want to do. This is a big mind shift from employment. You try to take 6 months of leave in employment. Right? We read about these companies overseas that give their staff 6 months leave after 20 years of service. That's the closest you're going to get to it, right? Or early retirement or retrenchment. Then you can take as much leave as you want. So it's a big paradigm shift. The system allows you to leverage, in other words, to harness the power of duplication. What is the power of duplication? Again, it's about leveraging your restricted time that you have. This is a business that you're going to have to sacrifice time for, right? Because you're already going to work 9 to 5. Now you've got to do this extra thing because you want additional income. So we've built the system that allows for leverage. Leverage is your ability to go out and build these channels of distribution, which are really you going out to build teams. Teams of people that you're going to collaborate with. And when you're collaborating successfully with all these individuals, they'll all be investing time into your asset, so that your recurring income can go up every month. Okay? We'll see it in the power of duplication. I'll show you the slide on the channel of distribution. This is a flexi-time opportunity. Now, this is a double-edged sword, because on the one side, you think, oh, it's flexi-time, it's great, I can do it whenever I want to. Yes, that's true, but that's not really a benefit, right? The the realistic aspect of this benefit, this flexi-time thing, is that you're going to have to sacrifice time routinely to be successful in this business. I hope that doesn't come as a shock to some of you. It's very easy to become a wealth engineer, right? 10 minutes you become a wealth engineer. But what you want to be is you want to be a successful wealth engineer. And to do that, I'm telling you now, this is my first tip in this business, is that if you want to be successful in this business, you're going to have made a decision by the end of this presentation that goes, right, how does DuePoint fit into my life in a routine fashion, in a scheduled fashion? Am I doing this business called DuePoint every Saturday, every Sunday, every weekend, every Monday evening, every Tuesday and Thursday evening? You can fit it in the way it suits you, but I'm telling you now, if you don't schedule it in on a weekly basis, you're just not going to get to where you dream about by the end of this presentation, about where this business can take you. There's no startup capital in this business. We make this business actually as accessible as possible to the average South African. So there's no startup fees. There's no registration costs. We don't have boxes of product that you have to buy to get started in this business. There's no qualifications or experience required. That's important because we work in financial services. And there is a lot of regulation that we have to abide by. We actually contract you out of that obligation, so you don't have to worry about it. Again, more accessible to everybody. You get to build an asset. Now, this is a very important point. This, again, is a paradigm shift from employment, because this is actually the antithesis of employment. In this business, the time that you sacrifice into building this asset is an asset that belongs to you. It is treated as a legal asset that you have ownership over. So you can sell it one day. You can give it to your kids one day to carry on. You can cede it to your beneficiaries if something happens to you. You can be clever and move it into a family trust. You've got options around this asset that you're building. Why is it the antithesis of employment? Because in employment, you're working at this place for 40, 45 years where you've got no ownership in the entity. You get no profit share. You've got no dividend check after every quarter. You've got zero control over your income there. You're more likely to get retrenched than promoted in this environment. Right? The opposite of employment. But again, what it requires is accountability on your part. Right? Because at the office, you get told, you better be at 9 o'clock in the morning, otherwise you're going to get a written warning. You know? Here, no one's going to give you a written warning. No one. You have to, out of your own accountability, go, right, what am I doing this week for my business? Right? It requires a little bit of leadership. There's no selling involved. Aren't you happy? I'll give everybody another chance. I'll say it again. There's no selling involved. Right? I tease everybody because I know it's the first question you ask the person that invited you here. That's the first question. You said, what's the products? What are we selling in that business? Oh, I'm tired of selling. Right? That's the reaction of so many people. We actually contract you out of that obligation to sell, which is a great benefit. There's no stock. There's no distribution involved in our products. Our products are intangible. They're run by systems, by IT systems. You don't have to go sell every weekend. Like I said, there's no boxes that you pick up. If you brought your uncle's bakkie, it's been a waste of time. We're not loading product onto your uncle's bakkie tonight. Right? So we make this business as convenient and as accessible as possible. And this is all determined by your success in building these things we call channels of distribution, which is you going out and telling people about the DuePoint opportunity, not selling. You're going out and speaking about the most valuable commodity that exists in South Africa today. It's called income opportunity. That's what you're going to be speaking about. That's what you're going to be telling people about. And if you're successful in that, and you're able to tell people about this business called DuePoint and what it's all about, and these people join and take one of our products, that is the beginning of your channel of distribution. And the people that come into this business will do exactly the same thing as you're doing. They will go out and tell other people. And so you have this organic growth that can take place in your channel. This is your channel. It's your asset. Next month, there'll be a few more dots, and your recurring income will increase. And this is what I want you to picture. Because if you have a business like this, where every dot is paying you every single month for the early efforts that you put in, that's when you can go, right, I don't need to take my boss's beep, beep, beep anymore. I'm going to tell him what I think about him, because I have options. I'm economically liberated. I decide what I want to do with my life now because I've created my own income. I have control for the first time in my life over my income, and I can do what I want. I can take my 3 months holiday. I can tell my husband or wife they can stay at home with the kids and bring our children up. These are the options that we're creating for ourselves. It's not just about money. Money is the means to the end. What is your end? Why would you do this? You need to have a big, big, big why as to why you're going to do this. Because this business requires this consistency and persistency to be successful. It's not easy business. My disclaimer slide. On that point, see the ballerina? See your legs? This is how we picture business. I'm going to hide the ugly foot. Right? When we see someone who runs their own business, someone who runs their own company, a CEO, a MD, that's what we look at. We go, they got a nice car, the spouse is nice, even the dog's good looking, they got a nice house. But in reality, we make the mistake of thinking that's what business looks like, or running your own business. But in reality, this is what it's actually all about. This business is not easy. I'm not going to lie to you. Easy doesn't exist in this world. If you haven't realized yet, life is difficult. You have to take things for yourself. You've got to be quite aggressive about it. Take it if you want it. No one's going to give it to you. Your spouse is not going to convince you. Your boss, the economy is not going to change. The politicians aren't going to do it for us. Our parents aren't going to do it for us. No one's going to do it for you. You've got to do it for yourself. That's why I say you've got to have this big enough why. And it's not easy because this is a people business. It's a one-on-one relationship people business, and people are frustrating if you haven't realized. You have to get through that frustration. And that's why I say we always talk about long-term in this business, because if you have short-term expectations, you'll get too frustrated and you'll be out the door. I see it happen all the time. But if you've got long-term expectations, right, you've got a big plan with a big why, a big means to an end, then the frustration in the beginning is not going to bother you. It's not going to bother you. You're going to persist. You're going to be consistent in what you do. And that's where success lies, right? So don't come into this business with short-term expectations. You're going to be disappointed. So let's talk about the money. The returns, right? This is why we're all here. It's like, finally the guy's getting to the money. We call it returns. We pay our wealth engineers a return at the end of every month, okay? We pay a base return fee of 27.50 Rand for every product that you have in your channel. So remember the first 5 people that you introduced to DuePoint successfully? These people lie on your first point. They are 1 point away from you. These are people you know personally. You personally introduce them to the business. On your first point, we pay you double the 27.50 Rand. We pay you 55 Rand for every product on your first point. Remember, it's recurring income. It's not once off. We pay you 55 Rand every month going forward for every product on your first point. The same on point 2. Because now your friends have gone out and brought other people into the business. Those individuals lie on point 2. Again, we pay you 55 Rand. Point 3, the multiplier drops to 100%. And it keeps dropping as the product gets further and further away from you. But note this. We don't limit you on how big your channel can get. From point 8 into infinity, in theory, to the 100th point, we will keep paying you for every product that lies in your channel. Into infinity. We don't limit you on how big your channel can get at DuePoint. We don't limit you on how much you can earn here at DuePoint. Again, the accountability lies with you. How much time am I committing? How consistent am I going to be in this business? How persistent am I going to be? So this is the mechanics of the returns. The next natural question is obviously, well, how much money can I earn in this business after a certain amount of time? People always want that idea. How much money are we talking? You're talking 55 Rand, but I don't know, tell me after time. How much time? Well, the accountants built this thing called the path to success. It is dependent on a growth formula. The growth formula is called 3 + 2. Okay? It assumes that a new wealth engineer can bring 3 people into the business successfully in the first month. Only 3, not the 5. 3. But every consecutive month thereafter, you're going to bring in another 2 people. Right? So it's 3 in the first month, 2 in August, 2 in September, 2 in October. 1 every 2 weeks. into perpetuity. If you can keep growing like that, you can expect these numbers. After 6 months, you can be on about 2,500 rand a month. Disappointing, right? 6 months of work. These law firms down the road here in Sandton charge that for 30 minutes of time. That's once-off money. That's once-off money. We're talking about recurring income. But let me give you some context, because I know that 99% of the people in this room have debt. So let's look at some debt. This person has got a 1 million rand bond. Remember our aspiration to become debt-free as quickly as possible? You now, after 6 months with some success at DuePoint, earning 2,500 rand a month. You take the 2,500 rand a month, and what do you do with the 2,500 rand a month? New shoes, suit pants. You put it into your debt. Put it into your debt. Pay your debt off as quickly as possible. So this person will take the 2,500 rand and put it as an additional payment into their 1 million rand bond that they've agreed to pay for the next 20 years at 11,500 rand a month. For the next 20 years. So if you're 35, you're going to become a homeowner when you're 55. It's a long time to pay the bank back, right? You put the 2,500 rand as an additional payment in there, you'll drop the bond term from 20 years down to 11.5 years. 2,500 rand. That little 2,500 rand has nearly halved your bond term. You don't have to wait until you're 55 to pay that house off. You can pay it off when you're 46. You can put another 10 years worth of savings and investments towards your retirement. Another 10 years. Because of little 2,500 rand a month that you created for yourself. Right? We need to start thinking about money from a debt perspective. I love one of Einstein's quotes. He said, "The eighth wonder of the world is the compounding effect." Banks cottoned onto this very quickly. Debt collectors, loan sharks. You're either on the good side of compound interest or you're on the bad side of compound interest. In this business, we want you to get onto the good side of compound interest. It has a massive long-term effect on your personal finance situation. We don't realize it because we only worry about what's happening by the end of the month. Do you see our short-term expectation? The debt cycle we're in, we worry about next month. We worry about next month. We worry about next month. We don't realize what we're doing to ourselves in 10, 20, 30 years' time and the net effect that all this debt has on us. After 12 months, you're at nearly 9,000 rand a month. That's over 100,000 rand in annual recurring income that you've created for yourself. Anyone get a 100,000 rand bonus this year? Why are you laughing? Sometimes there's one person who goes very shyly because he's in a room full of poor people. He thinks everyone's going to come ask him for money. We keep going. 24 months, we are nearly 30,000 rand a month, right? Doesn't matter how much money you earn. 30,000 rand extra a month gives you many, many options. Many options. After 36 months, you're on about 50,000 rand a month. For the high flyers, we have an example of a 5 million rand bond. At the 30-month mark, you're probably earning about 36,000 rand. Take that as an additional payment, place it into your bond. You'll reduce the bond from 20 years to less than 7. 30 months away. I'm 40 at the moment. I know I look 23, but I'm really 40. If I could get myself into this position and pay a 5 million rand house off by the age of 47, that would be a thing. And I promise you I'd go buy another house. I would. Owning one house is not an investment. We all think, oh, if by the time I retire I can just have paid off my house, then I'm fine. No. That's a big mistake. That's a big mistake. What are you going to do? You get to retirement, there's no income, you're living in a 5 million rand house, but you've got no income coming in. You need to sell the 5 million rand house, move into a caravan. Yes, this is what we do. You move into the caravan, and then the 5 million rand will pay you out 26,000 rand a month so that you can feed yourself and live. One house is not an investment. That's just a roof over your head. So when I get to 47, I will buy a second house. I'll rent the second house out for 25, 30,000 rand a month. And when I'm 54, I own 2 houses. I'll buy a third house. Because I'm still working. I'm still earning money from DuePoint. At 61, I'll have 3 houses to the value of 5 million rand each. Or do I rather just pay the 20-year bond as slowly as possible and get to 5 million rand by the time I'm 60? Do you see the difference? Let's keep going. At 48 months, we're about 70,000 rand a month. After 60 months, a short 5 years, you could be close to 1 million rand in annual recurring income. After 6 months, we thought, 2,500 rand. None of us left, but I think some of you wanted to leave. But on the other side of it, on 60 months, how many of you can even imagine what it must be to earn nearly 100,000 rand monthly in your flexi-time job that you do every now and then? Can you imagine that? I don't believe you can. What are you going to do if you suddenly have 100,000 rand in your account extra every month? We haven't got there yet. You don't have to get there yet. Focus on the first 6 months, right? But with a long-term ambition. Always with a long-term ambition. But this is all academic. This is based on 3 plus 2. You think you can bring in 1 new person every 2 weeks? It's harder than you think. But it's academic. It's an example. You can do less than 3 plus 2. You can do more than 3 plus 2. Accountability lies with you, as I always say. It's completely up to you. We've got many people that join the business. They get excited. R1 million rand after 5 years. They get excited. They join. They don't schedule this business into their lives. We don't see them again. They become part of the 0 plus 0 club. And how much are they earning after month 60? Exactly. They're earning 0. But you can do more than that. Right? If you want more, you can do more. We've had wealth engineers that come up onto stage and said, we saw the 3 plus 2 example. I said to myself, I want more than 3 plus 2 offers. I want more. So we've got Jack. He's from Witbank. He joined us, as you can see, at the end of January. By February, he had already created himself income. Nearly 1,000 rand a month. Created for himself nearly 12,000 rand in income for a year. Right? Look what happened in the space of a few months. He jumped to suddenly over 3,000 rand a month. And in the space of 2 months, he doubled his income. In employment, we're begging for 7% annually. And we can't even get it. And you can't even argue, right? Because there's 9 million people who don't even have a job. Why are you crying for a 7% increase when there aren't even jobs? This business is the antithesis of employment. You take control of your income. Engelbert, down in KZN, he's usually in a vest and baggies. He joined pretty much at the beginning when we launched this business. 440 rand by the middle of the year, 3.7 by January, 4 times as much by July. You have the ability to increase your income without having to increase your effort. Remember, we've built leverage into this business. You only have to be consistent because you're building onto an existing asset. Not in my business. It's the biggest reason I left my company. The company I started, I left it because we didn't create leverage or recurring income. It was a service-based business. We had designers, programmers, salesmen. At the end of every month, we started at 0. 0 we started at. I did that for 17 years. Crazy, right? Build an asset. Build an asset. This is what we're trying to do here. In Kanyezi, look at that. Joined around the beginning of April, right? Do you think she was happy with 3 plus 2? No. She told us, I'm not doing 3 plus 2, I'm doing more. Do you know how many people she said she speaks to daily? Her target, she's got a daily target, 25 people a day. You run out of family and friends and acquaintances and colleagues after day 3. This lady must be speaking to 25 strangers a day. You don't want to be in the queue with her at Woolworths. She will get to you. Right? But look at the effect. She's taken control over her income. This is the opportunity we're speaking about. We've got hundreds of wealth engineers that we pay every single month. And every month there are more wealth engineers that we pay. who have created income for themselves. We didn't ask for their CVs. We didn't ask, do you have a degree? Do you have experience in corporate? These are people that just decided they wanted to do this for themselves and their family. And they started sacrificing time, because that's really the only requirement here. So this is the returns. This is what we pay our wealth engineers at the end of every month. We have something extra. We've got a rewards program. This is extra to the returns, right? It's called the XP Rewards Program. If you become a wealth engineer, we will start tracking how active you are as wealth engineers. So when you log into the website, when you come to presentations, you watch training, you bring guests, you start doing all these things, we give you something called XP. XP stands for experience points. And when you start collecting more and more of these points and your business starts to grow, we will reward you through the XP Rewards Program. Right? So if you become a wealth engineer today, this evening, you'll become rank 0. You're still part of the 0+0 club. You rank 0, you've got nothing. But very quickly, you can get to rank 1, because all you need is 1,000 experience points, 4 products in your qualified channel, and then suddenly you rank 1. We'll be paying you a return at the end of the month, plus 55 Rand reward in the XP Rewards Program. And when your business starts to grow more and more, you start to collect more points, you start to rank up. And the more you rank up, the rewards get bigger and better. 100, 400, 1,500, 20,000, 50,000. We give our wealth engineers tools in this XP Rewards Program and help them build their channels of distribution faster and better. Here's Patrick and Pumi. They got to rank 5 early last year, I think. We gave them this lightning memory stick. This little device is awesome because it plugs into literally any device. It plugs into cell phones, tablets, laptops, computers, TVs, Android, Apple, banana. It plugs into everything. Who's got a banana? Huh? Don't worry. The XP Rewards Program has got iPhones in the program. We'll get you an iPhone. But more importantly, what we do is we put our video collateral onto this memory stick so that Patrick and Pumi can show people what DuePoint's all about, regardless of what device they have around them. At rank 7, we give our wealth engineer these luxury premium business cards. To get 2 sets printed actually costs us 12,500 Rand. I should put the price up for 1 set. To get 1 set made, because there's no printing involved, these get manufactured by hand, costs in excess of 20,000 Rand for 1,000 cards. If you ask Patrick and Pumi or Dani or whoever the rank 7 wealth engineers, if you ask them very nicely, they will let you touch their business cards. Can't take it, you can touch it, and that's about it. Why would we spend so much money on business cards? This business relies very much on first impressions. I always tell the wealth engineers, look professional, speak professional, behave professionally. When you've got a 20,000 Rand business card in your hand, the person that you're speaking to, they will suddenly give you a lot more credibility when you put a business card like that in their hand. Because your business card costs about 50 times more than the one they've got in their wallet. All you need is a couple of seconds, a couple of minutes to explain to them what the DuePoint opportunity is all about. This business card affords you extra time with them. At rank 9, everyone gets excited about this because this reward is not a once-off reward. All the others are once-off. When you get to rank 9, you get to enjoy this reward every single year going forward. 7 days away, you and your family to a 5-star luxury resort, business class flights. Every single year. Can you imagine that? You don't have to imagine too much because I'm going to show you where we're going. Take a look.
All of your wind has gone, and all of the paths you've drawn have sunk to the ocean sun where no one can see. You stand on at the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up.
We already have 3 families that have qualified for rank 9. We need the lights back on. Every single person in this room has the opportunity to get rank 9. You need to get excited about rank 1 first. 55 Rand. Can you get excited about 55 Rand? You can't even get a half chicken at Nando's for 55 Rand. They got a drive-through. They put it in here the other day. I went there. 85 Rand for a half chicken. Better not say too much. They'll sue me after watching this video. Get excited about the 55 Rand because the behavior, the activity doesn't change from rank 1 to rank 9. If you can prove to yourself that you can get to rank 1, you can get to rank 9. There's no time limit on this. There's no time limit on this. At rank 11, guess what happens at rank 11? We spend R250,000 Rand on a car and give it to you. No debit order at the end of the month. We're trying to help you get to debt-free status as quickly as possible. This is us working with you, supporting you. This is just rank 11. The table went down to rank 20. You couldn't see it at the back because it was at the bottom. There's rank 20. We've designed up to rank 28 in the offices next door. What happens at rank 28 if we're giving you a car at rank 11? A jet. I like the way you think. When you got your own jet. Eh? Between Malusi's and the Ruperts. There at the airport. Another benefit that we have for our wealth engineers is something that we do every month. It's a little bit of fun. It's a challenge that we issue to our wealth engineers every month. It's an incentive. It's called the Wealth Quest, that little pink WQ. This month's Wealth Quest is called the Quest for Quality. So we're trying to push for quality this month. If you can find 2 new people to bring into your channel, help them get qualified, which means you've got to help them get 3 people each. And if you achieve 100% BPQ, which means if all the debit orders in your first and second point all go off perfectly, you'll have an extra 5,000 Rand plus 2,000 XP being given to you at the end of next month. There's a new Wealth Quest at the end of every, or the beginning of every month. So the 1st of August, you're going to see a new one come up, and there'll be a new reward. Benefit every month, there's something new. Okay. This slide basically illustrates our business model. Some people get a bit worried, I think. I'm not too sure. I think our business model, they're not sure how it works. They get a bit worried for us, I think. Talking about jets at rank 28. Traditional businesses, especially insurance companies, spend a lot of money on client acquisition. This is demonstrated in the fact that you hear radio ads where one of the big insurers say, you phone us, we'll give you 400 Rand if we don't better your quote. If you claim free, we'll give you 700 Rand, right? It illustrates to you how expensive client acquisition is for typical insurance companies. And so they'll engage in a whole plethora of different marketing channels. At DuePoint, we don't do any advertising. You won't see our logo outside of this building. We don't do a stitch of advertising or marketing. We rely on our wealth engineers, our partners in the business, to go tell people about the business opportunity. And so instead of spending the billions that the insurance industry spends on client acquisition, we take that portion of our premium and we pay it to our wealth engineers in the form of returns and rewards. And that's basically how our business works. You might be wondering what the products are, because I've been speaking for about 45 minutes and haven't mentioned any of the products, right? It should emphasize the fact that we're not going to go out there and speak about products, guys. We're going to go out and speak about business opportunity. This is what we're interested in. But the products are, we've got 3 products. You can take out 1 product or all 3 products. They've got very different benefits. The first one is called Access Wealth. It is an investment product for 299 Rand a month, of which 100 Rand goes into a tax-free investment fund in your name. So it's with Sanlam, the biggest investment house in the country. It's in your name. It's not a notice or a fixed deposit. You can draw out that investment at any stage. At any stage. We give you a little bit of insurance with this investment product, 110,000 Rands worth of personal accident cover. Okay, so this is the investment product called Access Wealth. The second product is an insurance product. Now this is strictly insurance, nothing else. It's 274 Rand a month. You get a 1.1 million Rands worth of personal accident cover with this product. The beauty of our personal accident cover products is it's not life cover. Okay, it's personal accident cover. The benefit of that is that we don't profile every person that joins this business from a health risk point of view. So it doesn't matter what age you are. You can be any age over the age of 18, and your premium will always remain the same, because we don't send a nurse to you to do blood tests and urine tests and ask for your medical history for the last 40 years. Our products are very simple and clean cut. The third product is called the Wealth Points Buyers Club program. This product aims to save you money on the money that you're spending every month anyway. So it's almost like a discounts program, right? 274 Rand a month, you get to engage with a list of partners that we have over there, and we've negotiated discounts for our Wealth Points members through each of these businesses. So ShopRite Checkers is very popular because we all spend a fortune on groceries. Groceries is doubling in price every 8 years currently. Do you know that? Terrible statistic in South Africa. 2.5% off your entire trolley at ShopRite Checkers through this program. Entertainers got in excess of R1 million with the buy one get one free vouchers. We've got Eagle Ford. We've signed up a new data partner called Always On. A gig of data for less than 37 Rand. They've got 2,500 Wi-Fi hotspots around the country and growing. We've negotiated data at nearly a third of the price for our Wealth Points partners, Wealth Points members. You're looking for immediate benefit, the Wealth Points program is a great product to look at. I remind you, the support that you get here, if you become a wealth engineer this evening, lean into that support. Like I said, everything we do in this building is to support our wealth engineers. We have got so many things that we've done. The facilities are for you guys. The live stream is so that you can build your business outside of Joburg. This is the only office we have in the entire country. We're not putting offices anywhere. This is it. But the live stream allows you, and all the investment in digital technology allows you to go build your businesses in every town in the country. So lean into that. You can set up meetings with Brendan and myself. We will sit down with you and your team, strategize your success with you. So lean into that support. The decision slide. What is the decision? For those of you, I'm not going to ask who's interested and who isn't interested. For those of you that are interested in this business, I've spelt it all out for you. I've laid it out. It requires sacrifice. You need to have a paradigm shift in the way you think around money and time. Because this business tries to leverage all of those things in our favor, where employment doesn't. And you know employment's not working for you. Employment is there to pay your bills. That's it. If you're happy to keep paying bills until you're 60 and then die, keep going, right? Because that's where we're all headed. 98% of us, that's where we're headed. But if you're interested in an opportunity that's going to require you to invest time into a business that discusses everything that I've spoken to you about, the returns, the XP Rewards program, please this evening have decided how this business fits into your life. Because I know we are all chock-a-block. Our schedules are busy from the time the kids get up to taking them to school or studying or whatever you're doing till the time you switch the lights off and you go to bed. There's no more time for anything else. You have to make the time. You've got to do it for yourself, do it for your family, and we are excited to partner with you towards your success. We've got all the experience and the expertise. You get to partner with us for next to nothing. So let's do it. We make joining very easy. Like I said, wealth engineers can become wealth engineers, or guests can become wealth engineers in about 7 minutes. Jump onto our website, www.DuePoint.net, click on the blue apply button. You're a wealth engineer in about 7 minutes. You fill that application form out. We'll SMS you and email you your wealth engineer number so that you can start building an asset that you have ownership over. You can start doing it tonight. What business do you get to start building equity in a business in a night? Doesn't exist, except here. We've got merchandise. This is not a profit center for us. Remember, I spoke to you about first impressions, behaving like a professional. Please consider getting business cards, because you're not going to get to rank 7 overnight, and you're not going to get those black business cards overnight. So get these until then, right? We've got a memory stick. You can buy the memory stick. We've got video collateral on the memory stick. The pins represent people that are earning at DuePoint. So once you become a qualified wealth engineer, get one of those pins. We've got pens, power charger, book, caps. All the merchandise is on display in the cabinet. The pricing's on the counter. We've got training this weekend. Very exciting. 9 a.m. on Saturday. A new development seminar that's being specially developed that will show you how to get from your first month at DuePoint all the way to rank 9. Laid out for you. Brendan's going to be giving the training on Saturday morning. Make sure that you and your team tune into the dev seminar. We've got like 300, 400, 500 people that rock up here to the head office. So don't come to the head office. The live stream allows you to sit with your team in your bed while your spouse makes coffee for everybody so you can all watch training together. Okay, so be reminded, don't forget about this on Saturday at 9 o'clock. There'll be an intro afterwards at 10. We've got a YouTube channel, it's got all our videos on there. A year's worth of producing videos and training, interviews, testimonies, it all sits on the YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. Once you become a wealth engineer, download the mobile app. It reflects in real time what's happening in your business. In real time. You can sit in bed at 2 o'clock in the morning and see who's joining, who's making you money while you're sitting in bed. So download the app. Guys, I thank you for your time this evening. We're done. I'll be outside if anyone has questions, and I hope you all have a wonderful week. Thank you.